Tech City was a project that I created to support the emergence of a digital cluster in London. And this was 6 years ago, and at the time, London was a bit of a backwater when it came to technology. There really weren't many places and spaces for entrepreneurs to build their businesses, digital businesses in London. And if you were talented, you would get the hell out of London and go to Silicon Valley. You wouldn't stick around. And we were able to change that very, very quickly through this initiative called Tech City. Tech City's success speaks to really is the way the world is changing. And when we started this project in London, in East London, there really were no global technology companies at all. And we were able to get Google and Intel and Cisco and Airbnb and so on to invest in the area. It made a big, big difference. And indeed, using Skype, using Google Hangouts. Actually, the truth is that clustering, getting together like this, is more important than ever. Whether it's in a creative space, whether it's in a creative city like Lisbon, this kind of clustering really, really matters. And of course, against that backdrop, we've seen this explosion of small businesses. So people want to get together, they want to start businesses. What I think is sad though, and I think this is a real opportunity for Lisbon, just like London, is that the city itself isn't evolving to keep pace with this need of people to come together. But where do you go in a city, all cities, if you're trying to grow your company? It was Winston Churchill who said, first we shape our buildings and then they shape us. Where are these spaces for companies to grow? The problem is, I think, that our cities aren't producing these kind of spaces. We have places like Regis, horrible cubicles, not very inspiring. WeWork, which is like Regis 2.0. Again, on creativity, it might help us be more productive. So that's their studio in Madrid, which is a pretty nice place. And you know, their buildings, Solis Canada, are really like nowhere else in the world. They're amazing, colourful, playful, beautiful places. And we're very lucky to work with them. And so what we created with them was a space not for startups, but for growing companies. And this is what it ended up looking like in London. This is second home in London. And because, you know, I really believe that so much innovation comes when different industries collide. And that's one of the things that I love so much about Lisbon, is that you have so many industries here. It's not just tech, it's also fashion and design and so much else. There's actually, there's over 1,000 plants and trees inside Second Home, building on our insights about nature and our evolutionary history. I don't have to water them, but they're there. They look very nice. And if you look carefully around Second Home, you'll see that every chair and every desk lamp in the whole building is different. There are about 650 different chairs and desk lamps in the building. And the reason for that is, if you think about nature, every single leaf on a tree is different. Every snowflake, not that it snows much in Lisbon, but every snowflake is different. There's real complexity in nature. But our buildings and cities are often very monocultural, very boring, not very good for us as a result. Second Home, there's really not a straight line anywhere, because in nature, there's no straight lines. Our builders are still very angry at us. The builders don't like cars. And what's really fun as well is that mix of companies. So the top studio there belongs to Santander, which is the biggest bank in Europe. And just below them is a great company called Covert Designs. They make jewellery embedded with wearable technology. So it's very cool having one of the biggest companies in the world on top of a really exciting early stage company. And our job is to be connecting all these different companies together so they can do business, they can trade with each other, invest in each other, and so on. Every evening at Second Home, we respond to a different thing, so that every evening there are film screenings and lectures, live music, and so on. And you know, Stella McCartney has been and spoke at Second Home about ethical business, and Richard Branson came down and handed out £1 million worth of prizes. Most of his prizes were sort of free Virgin things, but they were welcome all the same. And what really excites me right now is that, you know, Second Home was 100% full before we'd even opened, and the only way you could even apply for a studio was to be referred or recommended. And the second place in the whole world we're going to open a second home, indeed the second home we ever open anywhere, is going to be in Lisbon. And the reason for that... You know, the reason for that is very simple, and I wish there was more to it. I just think this is one of the great cities in the world, and I feel an energy here that is exactly like the kind of energy that was in East London 5-6 years ago when I started the Tech City initiative. And I've seen how that part of London, that part of Europe, has become one of the world's great creative and technology centres. And it's going to be the same in Lisbon. It just absolutely is. And I hope that Second Home can play a small part in this. And I wanted to show you a bit about what we were planning to do. So we've got the most incredible space at the Mercado da Ribeira in Cais de Sodré, right on the waterfront. And you know, as lots of you will know, there's the Time Out Market there, which is a great space. And if you walk through the corridor on the right-hand side, you end up, as I'm sure lots of you know, in this beautiful old fruit and vegetable market, a very old, authentic market, which we absolutely love. And so Second Home is going to be the whole of the first floor looking down on that old fruit and veg market, just next door to the Time Out Market. And we're going to really, the construction work has already started. If you go past the Mercado da Ribeira, you see construction work going on. That's Second Home. And we're going to be ready very soon. And what we're going to be creating is an environment that is incredibly beautiful, full of thousands of plants and trees that create very lovely separation between teams, but allows you to grow in a very flexible way. We're under this beautiful vaulting roof. And you know, what's really exciting is the response. We've not really been talking much about this yet, but the response from the creative community has just been fantastic. And Faber Ventures, who are a very good venture capital fund, are moving their whole team into Second Home in Lisbon. So it's going to be a wonderful ecosystem. But our objective, and part of the reason I'm so excited to talk to you, is, as with everything we do in Second Home, is to ensure that diversity of industries. We want companies of different stages, different sizes. We want people who are just starting out, and we also want teams from the biggest companies in Portugal and Europe, so that there can really be genuine learning and exchange and new business collaborations, which you can't have if everyone's at the same stage. That's what Second Home is all about. I think we have time for a question or two, if anyone has anything to say, or just a cacao, or whatever.
Hi, it looks really, really great, super awesome. I just wanted to know, how do you fund this?
Yeah, well, we're very lucky. No government support, and I've had enough of government. I think it's that was fun while it lasted. No, we have really fantastic investors who believe in what we're doing. So we have investors like Yuri Milner, who's a big technology investor. Investors like Index Ventures, who are a big London investment fund, but also really wonderful entrepreneurs. So there are guys who built companies like Jawbone, Zoopla in London, the company Endemol, which created Big Brother, a TV show that robbed me of my youth. And what's great about having so many entrepreneurs as investors is what they say to us is, please create places and spaces that we wish we could have grown our businesses in. And so that's why we end up having permission to create bubbles and plant trees and have flying tables, because actually we think that entrepreneurs today need environments that are inspiring. And we have 4 classrooms where every minute of the day people are studying computer science, design, thinking, business skills and so on. And we run those in partnership with General Assembly out of New York. It's a huge challenge, this skills challenge, and one of the things we did when I was in government in the UK was make computer coding compulsory in the school curriculum. So from the age of 7 to the age of 16 in the UK, you have to study computer science, you have to learn how to code. And so Britain became the first country in the G20 to do that. Now, that's great, and it's really the right thing to do. It takes time for that to make an impact through the economy, and I think organisations like General Assembly are really important. We just, in the UK, the British government funded a new institute for coding and computer science, really to try and give the universities a bit of a kick and some more competition by showing how that kind of training can be done better. So a lot the government needs to do. I think the UK government's doing a lot, and other people need to finding out.